almost 80 to 90% subsidy is given for urea, and we are allowed to sell 5,000 rupees. People think this subsidy is to the fertilizer company, whereas we are the channels of routing this subsidy to the farmers. This is the biggest myth.
Leadership conversations that matter. What can be more than I have Mr. Manoj Mishra with me, who is the MD of Matix Fertilizers right now.
2,500 is also, I am saying, probably a higher number. Maybe my actual expenditure will be, I am talking expenditure only on the fees and admission, examination fees and the course fees. The statement which then that finance told me, that actually stunned me. और इस कंपनी में हो क्या रहा है? That actually was very frightening. Turnover was around 7,500 crores rupees. It will double. I had the breakup how it will double. Profit was meager. 500 crore profit, 15,000 crore turnover, all were charged after that meeting.
Private sector or public sector, where is the better leader made?
I think private sector is a better leader. Private sector, the more challenges are there. There are more handicaps are there in public sector.
So, sir, you were born in Golaghat in 1962 and left Assam before you were even 5. And yet everything, your marriage, your children, and now your company's largest market has bent quietly back towards Assam. What is that pull in a person who barely remembers the place?
Obviously, you rightly done the homework. I am born in Assam. Golaghat is a district. And Golaghat can be, how will people know about Golaghat? It is the place where Kaziranga National Park is there, or Numaligarh Refinery is there, so that people will, though of course it has nothing to do with my being born there, just to recall, your audience can recollect where the Golaghat is there. As you mentioned, within 3-4 years, our family shifted to Benares for work. They shifted to Benares. We also shifted. And within 6 years of shifting to Benares, we shifted to Delhi again for father's work. So, but still, so you can say my formative years were actually not in Assam. It was in Benares or maybe in Delhi, of course, in Delhi. So, but still, I always thought myself to be an Assamese at heart. And particularly because I was away from Assam, away from my root, the urge to be an Assamese was quite strong in me. So, I married an Assamese girl. My daughter also married an Assamese boy. And now we are looking for a Assamese girl bride for my son. So in fact, I think my second generation knows better Assamese, has better credential Assamese than me.
So you held on to your roots. So after Assam, your family moved to Banaras. And you have said almost nothing about those years. But Banaras in the mid-1960s is an extraordinary place for a child to grow up. What do you actually remember of Kashi?
Actually, the place where we stayed, it was called Rajghat. And it was the first ghat. There were total 80 ghat probably. You know, Rajghat, Prahlad Ghat and many ghats. So we stayed near Rajghat, and beyond that, it was that Mughal Sarai Bridge and some in another district. So I have some memories of as a childhood without informing my mom, going to Ganga along with my friends, taking a bath, coming back all that because it did not go deep inside. So all those memories are there. And we used to stay in a place called Sarva Seva Sangh, you might have heard. A small colony and offices were there. One thing I'd like to tell you, I studied class 3, 4 and 5th class only half of the year. I did not study class 1 and 2 at all in my career because my mother taught me at home. So even my school days in Benares are actually only 2.5 years. So my memory is to that extent limited.
So you actually went to school when you were in class 3?
Yes. I
directly admitted to class?
Yes, and directly into class 3.
Okay, wonderful. These days, I don't think it is possible. So your cousins back in Assam used to tease you For sounding like Marwadis.
Yes. During my young, so it is not that every year we used to go to Assam, but whenever we used to go 3, 4, 5 years, some family weddings, etc. At that time, our language was when we were in Benares, it was like Benares, or that too, Benares being in eastern UP. It was Purveya style. The Hindi must be speaking that. So they used to tease us by Marwari or Bihari like that. So I didn't know that they are teasing us, yeah. But that is a fact. Yeah.
Was that the reason you held very close to your roots and you took pride in becoming Assamese?
And of course, that was not the reason. The fact that I was away from Assam and proximity to Assam is more emotional than regional, because see, once we are there, those days travel by aeroplane was unheard of for people like us. Even railway travel was very costly as well as time consuming. We used to take trains have to be changed, so it's not that frequent that we used to go there. But the urge, obviously, those days your mobile etc. was nothing was there. The mobile TV, nothing was there. But somehow, I don't know. I always carried a feeling that I am an Assamese. I should be an Assamese. That carried along, although I do not sound like an Assamese probably.
So the day Matix became the largest urea supplier in Assam, did that feel like anything particularly to you personally? Because as you carry the Assamene ethnicity with you all the time.
No doubt. I would be surprised to know during my almost 5 years in Matix, I have been to Assam on official trips maybe 3 times only. But when we started marketing our product in our various marketing zones, Assam was probably fourth or fifth set to be added. We started, our plant is in West Bengal. So we started with West Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, etc. So maybe January 22 we started with Assam. We started with a modest number. Later on we became almost 25 to 30% urea market share is with Matix. So it was a matter of great pride for me that yes, okay, I'm actually able to supply, and we are relevant. In my official work also I am relevant to Assam. Very interesting. I think maybe last year, former Assam is Assam Chief Minister and now Minister for Shaking, Honorable Sarvanand Sonowal, he had come for some our cultural event in Mumbai, but Assamese community event. There obviously I had also been asked to go to the stage for lamp lighting along with that. So I got some time. Then I was explaining him that the one of the thing I could explain to him was that and who am I, and that my company is now the largest urea supplier to a state of Assam. At that time, he actually looked at me, curious, he is in someone. So that is a feeling of pride.
Yes, that is wonderful, I think, and keeping close to your roots is always, I think we all believe that. I have heard that people who move to US, they are more Indian and they carry more the Indian culture and all that than we people who are living in India. Maybe that is something is there in all of us. It is always there. So, sir, now we move on to your college years, the formative years when you actually studied and, when you actually start experimenting with life. That is what happens. So you enrolled in CMA before your BCom results. This is an unusual decisiveness in a young person. Where did that come from? Confidence or something else?
See, since you talked about my school days and college days, I was not known to be a particularly brilliant person. Maybe you can say an above average student during my school days. Maybe it is because of less due to my intellectual capability, but more to do with my application of time, how much time I used to spend in the examination or maybe studies. You talked about college. So, of course, I joined after. By the way, I am the last batch of 11+3 system. After 1977, we started with 10+2+3 system. So, last batch of that. And in 77, when I joined Dayal Singh College, that was the year when it's probably a few months back, emergency was lifted. So there were a lot of union activities were there. The student bodies were different groups of student petty and very aggressive groups were actually campaigning for these union activities. That also helped in a way that the freshers were they did not have to face any ragging because they were probably looking for their future votes. And they, in fact, the seniors actually helped us in admission process. That's a very unheard of, which I thought freshers are being ragged. They are saying we did not face that. One particular incident I recall, since the emergency was lifted, there was a lot of protest and all those things were part of the game. And during those days in Delhi, there was a problem called irregular services of DTC buses. DTC buses used to be the lifeline of Delhi those days, like maybe metro is today. I still recall, if during first year, there was a competition among various colleges to mark their protests against it at this TTC service. So one after the other colleges are doing some protests. So our colleges also, our student leaders also gone for protest. I was a junior, I was a fresher relative. So along with one senior, they were at small some teams for dispatch. Can you believe? Almost by the evening, almost rather late afternoon, almost 200 buses from all over Delhi, we collected, sort of hijacked and brought into the lane from Khan Market to Dayal Singh College. The entire stretch of maybe 2 kilometers road was
Hamari buses.
Hamari buses, yes. And what happened? There was a news. Everybody is craving for news. How many buses have they hijacked? So what happened? Obviously, that went off. I also don't know. We went that police later on cleared the things. A day or two later, similar thing was attempted by DAV College student. And I think police also, they thought enough is enough. There was a lathi charge. A lot of students got injured. So now when I look back, I say that could also happen during our protest. That is also learning that obviously during your student days, with your all Josh with you, you can do a lot many other things, which is probably not correct. And agitation can go violent anytime.
Yes.
That was the learning.
Yes. So you got the first mover saving because police didn't know what to do. By the time the second school did, college did,
Yes.
they got the better.
Then you asked about, Geeta, you asked about that thing, why I joined CMA course. At that time, we used to call it ICWA course, before my final examination results are out. Those days, based on your higher secondary, you are allowed entry into the intermediate. You don't have to be a graduate. Those days, those were the rules. Okay. So that saved me 6 months. So few of my classmates also joined. And for me, it was very easy because it was in this similar locality. And IRC of ICWI was in the Lodi Road. Dancing College was Lodi Road. So familiarity also means...
They are only two different corners.
Two different.
On that chalk, one side is the Alsania, another side is NIRC. Yes. But there was no foundation those days.
There was no foundation those days. Yeah.
Okay.
We were the foundation of the ICWI.
That is good. And then you were telling that your CMA qualification costed you less than 2,500 rupees. Today, candidate spends lakhs on coaching alone.
Yes.
Did that constraint shape how you think about value, about what things are actually worth?
Actually, I belong to that era when taking coaching used to be considered that the student is not good enough. Only very weak students used to go for coaching. Those are those days. Very soon this thing changed. Maybe after a few years of my passing, the concept of, but now even the practice student go for coaching to further their chances. So yes, you mentioned about costing. It was a natural choice for me, And at that time, actually, I did not think that the choice I have taken, if it will actually be the basis for my career later on. As I mentioned, I have only one professional qualification, that is CMA. There are many professions you will
It
find.
was called ICW.
ICW at that time.
Right.
And now the people have so many degrees ultimately. I feel I'm not belittling their contribution, but yes, ICWA was the thing which defined my, and at that time I never knew that is going to be a defining moment for me. And as you rightly said, this was 2,500 is also, I am saying, probably a higher number. Maybe my actual expenditure will be, I'm talking expenditure only on the fees and admission, examination fees and the course fees. I'm not talking about the books. Books also, few books, they are not that costly those days. So it was the reason why I went for, I said, apart from the familiarity about the area, is that you are allowed to do, those days you are allowed to pursue your own job. You can carry on with your job as well as study. So earn while you learn. That concept was there. Probably these days it is not allowed. So that was another reason. And here I'll like to share one of my classmates when he went for nearby, another MBA institute was there. MBA courses were very costly. He went there to inquire after, his family was well-to-do, so he could have thought of, he went to the institute, that MBA institute, asked for the fees was, I think, 30,000 to 50,000, a print system those days. And the cost of prospectus was 150 rupees. My friend didn't have that kind of money. He said, I don't think I have got 150 rupees with me. And the receptionist of the MBA institutes immediately replied, please come to us when you think you have got 150 rupees with you. So that is also, I remember. So it's a most value for money, best ROI, I'll say.
So at that time when people are doing BCom, you can choose between CMA or CA. But you chose for CMA. Was it a social weight, or did you ever feel you had to justify it? And when did you stop? When did it stop mattering to you that whether you did CA or CMA?
See, those days, if you recall, maybe you might be knowing that the only articleship, the one thing is that CA you have to do articleship. And I recall the very measly sum of rupees 50 per month used to be given for articleship first year. Second year probably 75 rupees, third year 100 rupees. But I wanted to be financially independent to begin with. So that's why CA was not a choice for me. Then naturally I went for CMA, as I mentioned. ROA is also good. And I actually, at those days, awareness was also not much. Which course actually has more avenues will be opened. Those days, that much awareness also not there. I think two things: one, most affordable course, and the flexibility to work while you study. So our classes were used to be from 7 to 9 in the morning, or from maybe 7 to 9 in the evening.
And you were working at that time?
I was working.
After BCom?
Yes.
So now we come to the next phase in the CRIBCO years, which is almost 23 years, which is a very long, I think that's the longest you worked in a company. So you spent 23 years. The cooperative sector is perhaps the most misunderstood governance in the Indian industry. Why does working inside a cooperative do to a finance professional that a PSU simply cannot?
See, this working in a PSU and a cooperative can be seen from two different. One is governance point of view. One is actually operation of a business and plant and marketing. There are two different perception from which you can have a look at it.
What is the tip?
I'll just tell you. As far as operation is concerned, we used to work just like any other PSU. Any other PSU. Only thing is that instead of CMD, we used to have MD, who used to be professional, and chairman, who used to be elected professional. So, as I mentioned, for operational matters, it is like any other company. But for governance point of view, see, cooperatives have to be, and again, this cooperative at that time, TRIPCO, I think almost more than 70% equity was with Government of India. So was it a Sahkari Sansthan or a Sarkari Sansthan? It is difficult to, because government directors are also there in their board. I don't know about present, but now some equity of government of India has been repaid. So, but from a governance point of view, it used to be different. It used to be elected board by an electorate. Elected members will be electing their board, and cooperative and normal company is the difference. Each member has one vote, equal. It's not number of shares. One member can have one share. He will also equal weightage, and another member can have maybe any number of shares. So those were the two different. So the level at which I was working, till DGM I worked there. So this governance part was little less affecting me. But I suppose if you are going for a director level or beyond that, then obviously it is a different. It's not that he is not affecting. There are company law provisions are not applicable to us, but there cooperative. There were some demand from the cooperatives which we had to meet, and the AGM used to be a jalsa, annual general meeting of the SUV Jalsa with people coming from, and we used to make sure each one of the delegate is coming. These delegates who will be member of the general body are also elected in turn, because we might be having maybe 30,000 members. We cannot have 30,000 members general AGM. So each state, depending on number of members there, they used to elect. They used to be called RGB, representative of general body meeting. So they used to in turn elect the directors. So that is a part in which actually at operating level, even at the middle management level, we are not much actually concerned with that.
So how did it work? It actually means you are saying the 70% was the government equity. So government, you had only one vote, even then.
Even then we had one vote.
And it worked beautifully.
Right, what we have to see in common. And in any case, overriding influence and powers. So
It had.
It had. Effectively, that's what I'm saying. Effectively, it was a PSU those days. But on the governance, on the legality part of it, it used to be governed by cooperative laws, multi-state cooperative act, not under the Companies Act. So those were the two different things. So that AGM part, board, election of members of the board, those are different areas.
So board members were elected.
Elected.
Not selected.
Except the functional directors. Functional directors used to be, during those days, selected only through the PSB, just like PSU.
Okay.
Yeah, so the hybrid sort of things. Right. I think that
it remains like this even now.
No. When the cooperatives, first IFCO, then CRIPCO, returned Government of India equity, then this sort of liberated themselves from the government hands, I can say.
They are more freer now than they
so
were.
now the board elects, board appoints the functional directors. Board
And the board is appointed by the?
By the general body. A general body,
And they're
AGM elected representative, where government has no say. Okay. So,
and
so
all
now,
this.
And this thing happened actually after I left CRIPCO, which I left in 2010. Until 2010, maybe around that time, they were thinking, contemplating, should we come out of the, should we repay government equity like IFCO had done?
Okay. So this is something, means at least I was not aware of it. This is how the governance used to work. So you have called that FICC and Eura pricing work your most defining professional moments. Most people think of peak moments in terms of titles. You think of an assignment. Tell me what that work actually was and why it changed everything.
For that, let me first retrace my journey in CRIPCO. So when I joined in Chandigarh. It was a state marketing office of Punjab and J&K, that from Chandigarh office. Chandigarh, another office which used to look after Haryana and Himachal. So that 3 years I was there. In fact, I was almost a fresh cost accountant. That gave me some exposure how the marketing, how a fertilizer marketing company functions. What are the activities? And each bill has to be seen by, even as junior manager, I got a good exposure. So that was my basis. Then when I say I have now know how the marketing of fertilizer company works, it came from that initial 3 years. And then I was I think 87, I joined Tripco. In 90, I was transferred to corporate office. In fact, I sought my transfer after a lot of effort. I was transferred to, and during that period, worked at various different areas, internal audit initially, then central accounts and budgeting, etc. But before that, I think 97, this break came. That also an accident, but maybe if we have time, we can discuss about that later. When I see FICC, if I tell you, fertilizer is the most controlled sector in the economy today. I don't know how much we believe no. It is, even now, after so much liberalization, so much reform, fertilizers remains too much controlled. Everything, there was a time when cement used to be under control, steel used to be under control, sugar used to be under control. Every sector, every other sector saw some sort of reform, but not fertilizers. So the impact of that was that now fertilizer, there is a cost called, government used to subsidize fertilizer. And how will they do? They will do a normating cost, including reasonable profit debit with the cost. Right? Based on that, your subsidy will be. And there is a fixed price on which you can sell to farmers, which is MRP. So our normating cost plus reasonable profit is the revenue. And this revenue is less because my this is higher, and the MRP, the part is MRP. Suppose this is 5,000 rupees, and just saying 4,000 rupees is the MRP and 1,000 rupees will be the subsidy. I'm giving one example. So that's why on this normating cost, this section I was talking about, FICC is a Office of Department Fertilizer, which dealt with urea pricing, fertilizer pricing initially. But since I am from urea industry, so it was a urea pricing. So each element, how each element is costed, what are the bases. So I actually, by virtue that I actually knew where from the money comes, which are the element, any element which how much are we spending and how much are we getting. In fact, every year there used to be a statement along with the financial account, which we used to present to the board also, which used to say profitability, normative profit as per FICC, as per government norm, and what is the actual profitability. And that used to be prepared by me. So that also gave me a lot of clarity, What is the business model? Until then, I was not doing the overall company's business model. Therefore, what is the business? Where from money will come? And at that time, when I'm talking about that time, subsidy used to be 30% of the total cost of production. Can you imagine? Now, subsidy accounts for almost 80 to 90% of the revenue of a urea company. 80 to 90%. So when I say fertilizer, particularly urea, is under control, I am trying to refer to that, because urea prices, retail prices are fixed, whereas costs have been going up. In any case, our major cost is raw material, which is natural gas. So natural cost, it has its linkages with international, because ultimately most of the gas is imported. The LNG is most of the gas. The domestic gas is now slowly getting allocated to other sectors. So I think I've been able to draw a good picture. What is the...
So is it very similar to as the power company's profitability is worth?
Maybe. Yes. I've not worked in power sector.
So if you show more expenses, you get more profit?
No, actually, there were norms. There were norms. Norms and actual, normally norms and actual, whichever is less. That used to be. So the entire emphasis used to be on proving of your cost, that this is the cost and this is the correct cost. So that was so that gave me actually a good understanding of the entire business model. So that's why when I say defining moment, and actually that opened me to a lot of other future avenues.
You have mentioned about one of your seniors, V.N. Rai, who would look at your Kripko analysis and ask, what is the impact on Livco?
Actually, see, if there is, of course, during your journey and your career, or rather, though he did not ask me that question, I consider myself to be a self-made person. I took my own decision, career calls and other things. I took my own calls. But having said this, I'll be lying if that during my journey, career journey, various seniors have not affected me, not influenced me. So one of the person, if I have to name one person who has actually shaped me and affected me in my career, and also my understanding in the person I am today, I will name Mr. V.N. Rai, former managing director of Crypco. And obviously, he was managing director from 2000, 2005. At that period, I was probably manager. So there was a lot of gap. But when he came, he knew that FICC matter, that urea pricing matter is at the heart of profitability, and knowing where the profit is there. So also I slowly after some work, before he came, I was already working there. So I had gained some competence over the subject. So whenever, as I already mentioned, since urea is a controlled commodity, Department Fertilizer or Ministry, they keep on some policy tinkering this or that, some based on industry feedback or otherwise, some changes will come. Whenever that notification will come, of my own, I'll prepare an analysis that this notification, what does it mean and how is going to affect Crypco. I will take one page note and take it to him, and I'll show it to him that this is the thing, knowing that what a great job I have done, and he will be actually saying shabash. He will just give a glance at it. He will just simple glance, and then but he will say, yeah, what is the effect on IFCO? See, Crypco had only one unit. IFCO had 5 units, urea units. It had other non-urea units also. I said, okay, I'll go back. I'll try to collect more information of 4 5 units. It will take me days, analyze, and then again prepare, revise the paper and take it to him that there is a Crypco, there is the impact on IFCO. Again, he will just a cursory glance at that, and he will ask me, what is the impact on NFL? See, again, NFL also had 5 units. So again, it would take me time. Then I actually realized, actually, he was not asking me these questions. Actually, he was preparing me for a wider perspective. You don't look any changes, don't look at your own company or impact on your company. You look at the company, impact on the entire business, on the industry, different players of the industry. So actually, that he used to challenge me in the sense my intellectual and my analytical power. So that made me. After that, few interactions like that with him, then I started having mastery over the entire industry numbers. Each unit I was having the numbers. Which unit is having what energy number, which unit is having higher fixed costs than other units. All those data were in my fingertips.
So he actually enabled you to take the higher roles,
Yes, yes.
which actually later on came handy to you.
Correct.
So when did you realize that the highest you could go at Crypco was ED? And how long did you sit with that before you decided to move?
See, in Crypco, depending upon at what level you have joined and during your initial phases, at what pace you got promotion and what, there are all were competent people. I thought the most likely case by the time I retire will be general manager. Because I was thinking. And best case scenario, of course, those days there were hardly any EDs in our company, but maybe ED concept. Now only I'm saying those days general manager was the thing. And that actually prompted me that actually, see, in Crypco, my actually being able to convince and satisfy Mr. V.N. Rai's searching questions. He was a very demanding, very demanding boss, very demanding managing director. People will shiver to enter his room. He will ask very searching questions, and he will expect those kind of answers. So very senior people will avoid going to him unless, of course, called. So I was prepared. So I had also, because I was able to satisfy him, I was thinking, I have arrived. I have a some stage here. But if I remain in Crypco, not that Crypco has not given me everything. Becoming general manager in a setup like Crypco is no mean achievement. It's very good. But I thought maybe a time has come that, this thought came to me later. But slowly it came to after Mr. V and I had also left. And I was thinking, I'm pretty good at my work. I have some reputation within the organization and also in the industry. There were meetings, again, urea pricing issues. Regular meetings used to be held in ministry. I used to represent like Kiko from company side. So that also gave me in that, okay, but I thought, I know enough about this. So should I not change and look for my career a broader canvas? Then I looked for it and started applying for a few places.
So your next stop comes to STC.
Yes.
Now we move on to how STC happened. So in STC you went from 2 people reporting you to over 100 overnight. What actually breaks in a leader when this happens? And what gets built in that place?
See, in Kripko, I was a specialist of a subject, urea pricing and FICC matters, and by virtue of that, few more things. One more issue is there in Kripko, in my defining moment. Maybe we'll talk about that later, or that acquisition of Shahjahanpur and my involvement there.
You can cover it now when we move on.
So the second defining moment for that was in 97 FICC work was given, and around 2005 during the last year of Mr. V.N. Rai, the KIPCO actually acquired Shahjahanpur unit of a Oswal Fertilizers. So there was a concept of public sector units getting privatized. Here it was a reverse of privatization, a cooperative, effectively government cooperative, buying a unit from private sector. That was unheard of. Actually, we were initially pursuing their Paradip plant, which IFCO snatched it from Kripco by paying maybe little higher. So we wanted it at any cost. I mean, when I say we, the company manager wanted it at any cost. So that the acquisition, when the due diligence was taking place, then I don't have to look only at Kripco numbers. I am looking at other companies' number. First hand, I know what due diligence means. I sliced through the numbers because FICC work I already knew. I knew where their profit is coming and how can profit be increased, how the expenditure can be increased. Those inputs I gave to my management. And also the financial model. Obviously, we had engaged an agency, professional agency, Edelweiss was our agency. They made financial model for that. But the input for that financial model was provided by me. So that exposed me to financial modeling thing. My earlier work assignment never led me to financial modeling thing. And by virtue of financial modeling, I also started dealing with prospective lenders. If the lenders have questions, those answers were with me. So that actually exposed me to an entirely different kind of area. So defining what first was getting into urea pricing and FICC work. And second in Kripco defining moment was when I worked in Shahjahanpur plant. So another matter maybe because of whatever price Kripco paid for Shahjahanpur, but how much money could Kripco make? But the point is the people involved, the officials involved in the acquisition of Shahjahanpur plant, all actually gained immensely professionally. Everybody.
Cool.
So that was in 2005. So, but when you talked about STC, when I shifted to STC at 2010, वो भी Shahjahanpur भी हो गया. Shahjahanpur also effectively from Kripco side, I was monitoring. It was a joint. My exposure to joint venture is actually from Shahjahanpur. Shahjahanpur is not a Kripco acquisition. It was acquisition by a joint venture where Kripco contributed 60%, then another entity, private sector entity, put away 40%. That was also a first for PSU when getting in alignment agreement or partnership with a private sector and go to acquire a private sector asset, another private sector asset. So in 2010, then I thought, I think I have achieved enough in Kripco, and maybe I should challenge myself in going beyond my comfort zone. So at that time, started applying. Only 2-3 places I had applied. The STC thing came. STC interview. I still recall there were 16 candidates called. All 16 candidates turned up, and I was the thing that everybody else looked like there was also quite a jump in designation. Chief General Manager Finance. When I was sending my application through proper channel, my boss, who himself was a CGM, he also looked at me, "Alright, you're applying for CGM. Okay, eligibility was there. So the interview, one of the regulation question, the CMD STC asked me, you long, I think 6-7 member interview board. The question he asked me, it was a regulation question, that where do you see yourself 5 years from now? And immediately told him that I want to, in 5 years, I would be director of finance of a schedule A company. And remember, when I was saying this, I was just a DGM in the crypto, and DGM also had become a week before. CMD said, "Oh, no, it is difficult, don't you think?" I immediately said, no, it's not difficult. My immediate instant reaction was, it's not difficult. And later on, I thought, I think what CMD is saying, maybe is right. Then I revised my response to him. I said, maybe it is difficult, but I think your aim should be aspirational.
Okay. Wonderful answer.
And it actually, as it turned out, that within less than 2 years, I was actually director of finance of that company. Instead of 5 years, which I
So
was
you
saying.
manifested what you said.
Yes, actually. This is a life, how it takes.
So what is that story when you say that 2 people were reporting to where overnight 100 people started reporting? So how did it happen? And it's
Yeah, actually, you're right. In crypto only, I said I was looking after the very specialized job, urea pricing and other related thing. Then only 2 persons are directly reporting to me. And though I had influence on other area, but reporting was like that. Suddenly, when I came to SCC, and it took me some time. Some familiarization was there. Already one CGM was there. He retired by 30th September. So I was the only CGM there, senior finance there in SCC. Then I shoot the office out of who is reporting to whom. And then I listened up. Probably 103 persons were reporting to me in that office, a corporate office at STC, 103 finance people. So suddenly, from a finance specialist, I actually become a leader of a large finance team. And 8 of them were reporting directly to me, of GM, JGM, DGM level, different sectors of the finance. And under their team, it was 103 persons. Later, I realized that leading from 2 to 103, more than 100, is least of the challenges. Actually, I at that time realized probably management is an area which I am very comfortable with. Dealing with a large team, that also realized. I didn't have face any trouble in dealing suddenly with such a large team. But as I mentioned, SCC had different challenges at that time. This was the least of the problem of dealing with a large team.
yeah. So as you mentioned that it was largely barred from initiating recovery from defaulters. The power sat entirely with the director marketing. And yet finance professionals were the ones facing vigilance inquiries. How do you survive that kind of a institutional injustice without becoming bitter or reckless?
First thing, first reaction is that I will not claim that I have survived. That is one. But now coming to that, see, when I joined in 2010, STC, due to great financial crisis of 2008, there are a lot of associates, company associates, financials were under stress. And the effort in finance was somehow to ensure that these are not turning into doubtful debts. And they were all most of them were under stress, and our effort was with the confidence of the statutory orders to ensure that there are sufficient basis for not terming them as doubtful debts. So that was the thing. I in fact institutionalized system, as you rightly mentioned. We had a trading guidelines in STC, and trading guidelines mention what are the duties and responsibilities of different sector. And it was mostly for finance department. It was that only responsibility mentioned was safe custody of bank guarantees, safe custody of post-dated checks. That is the only thing marketing will give. You would give. When marketing department asks, you'll have to give it to them. Whereas initiating any recovery action from the associate was within the domain of marketing department, more specifically with director of marketing. So what I thought, what is our role then in finance? What I instituted is a monthly reporting. As CGM Finance, I used to write a note giving details of all the recovery. Every month I used to send through my director of finance to CMD, and also copy of that to each director of marketing. We had 3 director of marketing positions there because it being a trading company, and also the other marketing CGM and GM. I institutionalized that system. Also, there was a system of quarterly reporting or ODs to boards, which we continue, and very diligently we used to do. Then from time to time, ministry used to ask, what is the status? That also we used to give. But after all, not all the cases could survive. Many cases actually became bad. And obviously, I will not say that some wrongdoing was not there. But in the process of managing those difficult cases, you are there in the system. You have to sign on many papers. You have to participate in many discussions. The person from outside, maybe in a ministry or vigilance or something, first question they think, if the question of recovery is there, finance department is responsible. Nobody used to look at the trading guideline where they said the recovery decision is to be taken by director of marketing and marketing division. So due to that, a lot of my finance colleagues, they had a lot of problem. I think I will not dwell more on that. Maybe on the positive side, STC. On the positive side, I'd say I had, apart from this large team and this trouble with the overdue position, the positive side, I would say it was a very good, very professional and eminent board. There were 8 eminent board members, independent directors board members, and it used to be actually, if I say, it used to be a class, each board meeting used to be a class how to deal with such a, so the number of independent directors more than the number of functional directors. So it was a bit, I'll say, every time there has to be some learning, and that prepared me for, and very strong board. I had not narrated the retired secretaries to the government of India, and some, because the trading company, one ambassador was also there. The director of IM Ahmedabad, director of ASCII, professor of ASCII, and some professional chartered accountants. All those very eminent retired CMD of GAIL. So not me. It was very eminent board, and that actually gave me a very good exposure.
Very professional, independent director.
Very professional independent director.
And they used to ask real questions.
Real questions. Yes.
So STC gave you the fastest career growth, career acceleration to your life. Is this the most difficult environment also in some way? The most accelerating, and did you understand that while you were still inside it, or this is your observation after?
Your first question, first part of your question, that it gave me very accelerated progression, which answer to that is yes. From DGM to becoming CGM itself is a huge leap. As I mentioned, from 2 direct reportees to more than 100 direct reportees is quite a jump. And then within 1.5 years, when my director of finance term ended abruptly, at that time the position of director of finance in charge was created, and that I discharged the functions of director of finance. And then through PSB selection process, by October 2012, I joined as full-fledged director of finance. So if you can see, from DGM to director of finance, actually it was 2.5 years maybe. And that also paved the way was for becoming CMD, you have to be a director. So that actually was a foundation for me to becoming CMD of NFL. Had I remained in Tripco, I would have professionally, obviously this opening would not have.
You would have retired as an ED.
Maximum, or maybe GM. Yes.
So from Tripco, you came to the PSU, and then for PSU, within how many months you became director of finance? 2 years.
Less than 2 years.
Less than 2 years, you became director of finance.
Director of finance in charge. of this. Initially, the ad hoc charge was given to me because the director of finance was not there. His term ended. And then I think maybe.
Your letter had not come by that time. You were selected already.
No. Even then, after that interview took place. So
Okay.
those days, CMD used to allocate the additional charge.
It was not to be held only by a director.
Yes.
Like now these days.
Right now, it is issued by the government department. So it was not like that at that time.
So STC has been a very defining thing for you, from coming from cooperative sector to going into the company, the kind of a sector, and then getting into the PESB and all that. So there must be a lot of things which you would have told a lot of other people, and in various interviews you told number of things here also. Is there anything which you are not told in public domain ever in the STC? Anything?
Actually, as I mentioned, there was difficult cases, difficulty cases, but that I think I made myself clear. Recovery cases were there, and somehow, so not that everything was good was happening. There was some attempt by independently by management, and when I say management, I'm keeping myself away from that, and marketing department how to keep that. The one example came of establishing one LC to one of the, I'm not named the vendor, the associate. I thought, why already some 60 crore is lying outstanding recovered from them, and whatever ROM, we are opening LC for buying some material. That material is also lying with them, and certain more issues. In fact, when that came, that note came to me, I in turn put a note to me, putting my observations. That why should I give? Why should this proposal should be reconsidered for extending another facility, finance facility to the associate, and going to through I wrote to director marketing, director finance, and CMD. I wanted to inform my boss, director finance, that this is the way that he was not there. He's probably busy with the meeting somewhere. So I started back from office. By the time halfway when I reached, and a call from director finance, what happened to their proposal? I told him I had written my observation and returned it back, and according to which should not be done. Then he said, no, why you done like this? 20 crore, some LCSU. I said, already things are lying with the party. Why should I open another? But he said, then only he will give me the old money if I open this LC. Then I said, मेरा पैसा ही लेके मुझे देगा तो इसमें क्या बात हुई? And this statement which then director finance told me, that actually stunned me. और इस कंपनी में हो क्या रहा है? I had never stated this. That actually was very frightening. So old people were knowing, and we joined later, and we are more into basically housekeeping, that things should be clear, clean from auditor's angle, from a board angle. So our hands got soiled for no fault of ours.
Okay. So you see, these are certain things which you go to a new company when you don't know the background of it, and then it becomes for you that you have to actually assess and then take the right call. Yeah, so that was it. And then from there you moved on to NFL.
Yes. Right.
And tell me the story of what happened, how did you go, and all that.
Somehow NFL CMD ship asked to come to me. Now, actually, I recall with my another few professional colleagues, those who joined along with me in marketing, we used to discuss कि SCC छोड़ना है तो कहाँ जाएंगे, क्या opening में. I was thinking, one Madam Meera Abrol was director of finance in NFL. She'll be retiring in February 2015. वो position, director of finance की position open हो जाएगी. और यार, yes, at that time I will be eligible. I will be competing 2 years. I will be able to apply. And suddenly came to know that when the government was changing from UPA government to NDA government during those 10 days intervening period, she was made a permanent CMD. So that director of finance position got vacated in the month of May 2014. and I had not completed 2 years. So my colleagues told me, आपका तो डायरेक्टर फाइनेंस का क्वेश्चन चला गया, and just impromptu I said, ये कोई बात नहीं, अब मैं CMD के लिए अप्लाई करूँगा. And as it turned out that actually I actually
Second time lucky.
second time lucky actually, because I did not.
So that is how you entered NFL.
NFL, obviously, see, it's a PSB selection process. It's a, had we been a commodity, it will be open bid system, global tender, you can say. So all different companies, different field, there were director marketing, so some, or maybe SUL B companies, even CMD will come for those interviews. Central services, IAS, IPS will also come for. So, but I had, because of my 23 years in Crypco, I had that fertilizer background. And though 5 years interim in the SCC, that was some gap in my understanding of the, some lot of development had taken place. But actually I worked very hard for the CMD NFL interview. And I mean, the way my interview went, nobody else could have been given that position. I'm pretty sure.
So your 23 years at Crypco got you the NFL CMD position.
That, and also the fact that STC, I was director of finance. So the both of them, so not one thing, you cannot create an achievement or a position to one thing. There are many things happening together.
Yes, that happens because things fall in
Had
place.
I been in Crypco, even if I had become GM, from GM in Crypco, I could not have become CMD in NFL.
Yes, yes. So your decision to come to STC was a good decision.
It turned out.
It gave you the, but you came back to fertilizer.
I came back to fertilizer.
You left fertilizer.
Yes.
And then you again came back to
Correct.
fertilizer.
Correct.
So as you told me, then in 2015, December 2015, you stood in front of every senior leader at NFL and announced 3 specific numbers. 1, double the turnover. 2, double volumes. And 3, profits multiplied 15 times.
Yeah. To tell you the story, when I joined, I had, when I was preparing for the...
This is very ambitious what you said. Yeah.
When I was preparing my notes. How will I prepare? At that time itself, I started having vision of what I'm going to do there when I go to NFL. Of course, not being in the company, I had its own shortcomings, that entire thing I was not knowing. So it was coming from the notes which I prepared for appearing for the interview of NFL CMD. But still, after joining, I joined in June 2015. It took few months, maybe 6 months, almost more than 6 months I took. I met many people, employees, our dealers, different offices, all visited all the plants, marketing offices. I got a hang of what is the thing is there. Another thing I will tell later on of the vigilance cases in NFL. Maybe later I will cover that also. That the team was not really motivated. I thought, I said, I've got full 5 years tenure. I have to do something transformative. Otherwise, there is no point in being a CMD there. So during those 6 months, first 6 months, I actually worked on what are the areas we can be. Our production capacity was 35 lakh tons. And first thing I said, it should be 70 lakh tons, our sales volume. So here when I'm saying volume, I'm not adding any production capacity actually. 70 lakh tons, from 35 lakh tons, 70 lakh tons. Then turnover was around 7,500 crores rupees or those time. It will double. I had the breakup how it will double. From 35 to 70, maths was easy. I showed to the team how it will be done. And then of course, profit was maker. See, if you increase your turnover, your capacity utilization, your other activities, the profit doesn't actually double. Profit actually grows multifold. So from, I think we were having around 30-40 crores profit. From 500 crore profit, 15,000 crore turnover, and 70 lakh tons fertilizer sale. This was the 3 thing. I used to call, I gave it a name, strategic meet. The first strategic meet happened on the Christmas day, 25th December 2015 in Jaipur. All GM and above we collected, and to them I showed my vision that this is the way we have to be good, and all were charged after that meeting. Full day session. We also worked on SWOT analysis of the company, what should be company's vision and mission statement, all those things we did. Now the vision statement and mission statement of the company are all coming out of that meeting. So after 6 months I took, and then obviously I was talking about, so what is important is you have to have a very ambitious target. And one very statement I've heard saying, you have to hit your target, you have to aim higher. So I'm pretty pleased with what we have achieved in during those 5 years. One stumbling block problem which I was feeling by virtue by 6-7 months dealing and meeting with the employees, or that there were lingering vigilance cases. Maybe if you have time, I can dwell on that also.
So when you were making these 3 statements, doubling the volume, doubling the turnover, and profit multiplies, were you afraid that out of these 3, one is something which you don't believe that it might happen?
No, actually, I actually believed.
You believed in
I
all.
believed it.
Wonderful.
I believed it
At
can
that
be done.
time.
Yes, it can be done.
So
He almost achieved it. I mean, by the time when my farewell note, when I completed my tenure, my farewell note to the employees, actually we clocked 57 lakh tons, from 35 lakh ton to 57, which is a sizable jump. We did not reach 70 because we had calculated our joint venture Ramagundam Fertilizers 13 lakh tons. At that 13 lakh ton cleaning time, there's a separate discussion we'll have on that also. It could have been 70.
we can cover that Ramagundam. You were telling something on the Ramagundam fertilizer plant.
Okay. I think before that, if you allow me, I'd like to talk about the demoralization which was set in the employees. There were 4 vigilance cases, very big vigilance cases. Lot many employees are embroiled in that. I still recall those names. For a dealer case, seeds case, bags case, AGM gift case. So after you will find very difficult. And all people were, many people, unless I take out the point that people were afraid of taking decisions. So one by one I studied the cases. These cases were actually coming out of fight between 2 joint secretaries in the ministry, and both of them held additional charge of CMD of NFL at different times. So they tried to cut each other because that they have not dated. Like seed case. Seed case, what was the complaint? That the marketing team sold seeds at higher than the market price. Can you hear? There can be a charge that you are selling less than the market price and not making profit, higher than the...
How did that charge come?
That was the charge, and it was being floated around, case was there. And then for empty bags procurement in all PSU is a favorite hunting ground of vigilance department. So one of the, bags will never be, these are small time players who, MSME, who are bag suppliers. The quality is always an issue. So quality check is there, bags are returned, whichever is not meeting the quality. Obviously, it has to be random check. Bags. Based on that, some complaint will come, or and then in fact the former directors, etc., they were also embroiled in that case, the bags case. Whereas our tender says only if 25% of bags supplied do not meet the criteria, in case more than 25% of the supplies do not meet the criteria, the party will be actually thrown out. They will be shown the door. They contact me to cancel. I found out it is hardly 1 or 2%, which is quite normal. Yeah. But based on that also one case was there, and dealer case was there. Amongst the PSU, NFL had the least number of dealers. In sale of dealers, there are 2 different philosophy. One philosophy is that you have as many dealers as possible, small. So what is happening? You have the same amount of material, but you have a large number of dealers. Each dealer gets a small piece of the cake. There is one method. So there are companies, PSUs, who are having a large number of dealers. Here, the number of dealers is very less. So one CMD, who was happened to be joint secretary and the additional charge, he said, no, we should increase it. Some norms are there, and dealers were appointed, new dealers are. One of them happened to be his relative. And because of that, all these things happened before I joined. My job was to clean them up. And because of that,
To restore the employee morale.
yes, all the people who signed in the file, all were charge sheeted or inquiries were being held. In fact, allow me to tell a little more on that. When obviously at my level, up to GM level, I exonerated everybody by, of course, writing my speaking orders on the file why the case is not sending. But for when a joint security level person is there, the reference came from the ministry, first to CVO, then to CMD. It was, had he, that person, uska shayad bhatija bhanja tha, in case he's on merit, can he be given? Could he been have made the dealer of the thing? CVO's response was that no, he could not be. He could not have been made a dealer. Had he not been a relative of the CMD or joint secretary, he could not have been made. But the ministry again referred it to, after that, referred it to CMD. They asked me, can he, same question. I very uncomfortable question, speaking on the action of a joint secretary. It was very uncomfortable, or ex-CMD. But since it was asked to me, I had to say, I decided on some objective criteria, qualification of the incumbent. For that one dealership, 3-4 application might have come, qualification, and then storage capacity, his net worth, location on the market, or 4, 5, 6 criteria. I found that out of 5 out of 6 criteria, he actually scored number 1. I actually replied to that. The fact, I am not about whether he was relative or not. On merit alone, he would have actually been given. So that way, the cases are, once a case is established, it keeps on lingering. Yeah. But I think we have to move away from these things. Otherwise, it will appear that we are discussing only of those cases. But after that, employee morale actually boosted. People were ready. I told them, you take decision based on merits and as the facts available at that time. You record in your note when you are taking a decision, what are the bases, what are the logic reasons you are taking the decision as it existed then. Uske baad things can change. Is after trading or marketing karenge, the things can change. That gave me, that's why the reason we could actually scale it up.
Yes, because if employees don't take decisions, then all decisions cannot take from a central power. That is actually is a big problem. So, at a peak in your NFL, you were simultaneously CMD of NFL, RCFL, and RCF and FACT. How does it be to manage so much of a portfolio?
Yeah, actually it is tough, but somehow this is.
How long was this period? And
I'll tell you, my NFL tenure is from June 15 to June 2020, 5 years. After first 9 months itself, I was given out here in June 2000. After a year, June 2016, I was given additional charge of RCF. The story sometime else I will tell how it happened. So it was close to a year, maybe 9 months, that additional charge. So what it happened, it took a lot of toll on the person. I happen to be that person. It will take a toll on everyone because every week, Saturday, I used to spend there.
You go to Bombay and come back
every week without fail. And in addition, sometimes there will be parliamentary committee are there where they expect CMDs to present their case. So in addition, there were some sometimes more than once a week I have to go. Those were the things. When the FACT charge came, it came to me in February 2018 and for a year, February 2019, or a full 1 year. And that being a relatively distant place, there I took a decision after learning from RCO that actually you're burning yourself from a candle burning from both sides. I made a decision, I will visit that place twice a month. Say every alternate week I used to go. Again, Saturday I used to spend there. And of course, it expanded my horizon. I knew that company. I knew the team. Team still interacts with me. Similarly, RCF still, now that I come back to Mumbai for a Matix job. So few of the RCF colleagues will keep on meeting on some or the other occasion. So it expanded my horizon, no doubt. But it is a extra burden for which no CMD is paid extra. another thing you mentioned, it also
That is true. Whenever you're given additional charge, you're not paid extra.
no thing extra responsibility.
And sometimes that charge goes for a very long time.
Very long.
Additional charge means maybe for a short period of time,
It
2,
was
3
nine,
months.
9 months and 9 months also.
And then you took charge of FSCT also.
FSD also 1 year.
1 year FSCT and RCF 9 months.
9 months. I have different times. In NFL, I also by virtue of CMD NFL, I was the joint venture company, RFCL, which I said I would talk about it later. RFCL, Ramagundam Fertilizers and Chemicals Limited. That I was chairman of that initial formative years of that company. I was the chairman. And then by virtue of CMD of RCF, another joint venture, Talcher Fertilizer Limited, Talcher in Odisha, fertilizer coal gasification based plant in Talcher, Odisha, where RCF had some equity. So I was chairman of Talcher Fertilizer Limited. In fact, the first AGM of Talcher Fertilizer Limited in Bhubaneswar was held under my chairmanship. And it's coal gasification, how much pet coke can be mixed with coal. We decided 25%. How I navigated in the board where the other members from GAIL and Coal India was there. That also was I think is a defining moment for that. That was a decision I've taken.
So you found one day that NFL had the highest turnover in the listed fertilizer space from a money control report. So tell me,
Actually,
how it happens and were you surprised by?
Yeah, actually, I surprised it. Normally, don't get time to see those reports. But sometime while scrolling, I looked at moneycontrol.com, fertilizer sector. I said, list then all the listed companies based on their turnover. They have, based on turnover, profitability, they will give the listing. So, based on turnover, I was surprised to find that it was in 2019. We were the largest fertilizer company in the listed space. I must add here, there are few companies, large companies, they are not listed. Like IFCO, Kripco, IPL, they are not listed. But still, there are large companies, Coromandel, Chambal, but still, because of, had it been 2015, I'm pretty sure we must be at 3-4 number. So we became the largest. That was a matter of fact. I actually didn't plan for it. It just happened, I saw. That gave a lot of satisfaction to me.
You focused only on the performance and then it automatically happened. Number speaks for itself.
Yes.
So your fertilizer space, we can talk and talk and talk. Would you like to talk about the Ramagundam which you were talking about? Because then we move on to the next segment.
Yes. Actually, when I joined NFL, Ramagundam company, Ramagundam Fertilizer and Chemicals Limited as a company, joint venture company, and already been formed. NFL had 26% equity. Another PSU from oil sector had 26% equity. We had different other equity holders. And Commodore Telangana had 11% equity. GAIL, later on we added GAIL. So those were the things. Later on when I said, I saw it was after my tenure ended, and I saw that being a fertilizer company, we should be in control of a joint venture company, which is ultimately going to be producing urea and selling urea, which is our business. It should have been our subsidiary company, or we means NFL should have the commanding management control over the company. Until then, as per the JV agreement, the chairmanship was rotating 2 years with NFL, 2 years with another PSU, and CEO and CFO position also 4 years rotating. That was the day. So that full ownership was not there. I spoke to my secretary of fertilizers. In fact, he encouraged me. Yes, this is the right way. You should go for it. I took board approval that we should buy back 26% equity of that company, another PSU. But somehow I informed that we have taken this decision, and obviously it has the blessings of Department of Fertilizer also. But somehow their ministry, the Ministry of MOPNG, they stood with them. They did not want to. They had no stake in fertilizer manufacturing, no record, nothing. They did not want to give that. Okay, so it went up to both the secretaries meeting. It was inconclusive. The matter went up to the cabinet secretary. But in his own wisdom, he decided that it should be the way it was agreed at the joint venture agreement stage. It should remain. And I think that is one of the reasons the Ramagundam Fertilizer plant performance is the way it is. Instead of 3 years, it took almost 6 years to complete. And it is the only plant of the 6 new plant. It is the only plant which has not been able to perform at its potential. That is the only plant. So that pain I am carrying, that this thing I could not achieve. I tried, but obviously, in government you can do only that much.
Yes, yeah, but you're right. That is the best thing. So you have started from fertilizers and then went to STC and then came back to fertilizers. So you pretty much done all things. Like you worked in various areas. So your life is like, I am painting it like a canvas. 7 governance architectures. I'll pick a few questions from that. Answer whichever you would like to. You perhaps are the very few finance professionals in India who have worked across 7 sectors. I'll name them: private sector, central government, PSUs, cooperatives, board level command, JV chairmanship, and back to private sector at the top. Did you ever see it as a canvas, or did it simply look like a series of next step while you were just living it?
Actually, if someone had asked me when I was doing my BCom, or maybe even the first job,
CMA.
CMA, before CMA, when I took up that job as accounts clerk in Candy Fertilizers India Limited, and after doing my BCom honors, when I said I was doing CMA simultaneously, if someone would have asked me and showed me this canvas, would you be like that? I would have actually laughed, and it would not have been unbelievable, actually. But I think as things happen, at each of the stage, I grew professionally. I understood the first. I understood the accounting, because that is the way, that is our qualification. Then you need to understand the business, the industry, the environment, ecosystem under which that industry functions. And obviously, as you grow in the hierarchy and reach board level, then board level governance issues are there. So I have seen all the, obviously, I think each stage was preparing me for, without telling me, each stage was preparing for the next step as it happened. Now, if I can just look back, yeah, but the defining moment was one, joining CMA, and then joining Crypco. And Crypco, it was just by chance that I was given the work of urea pricing in FICC. Crypco taking over that Shahjahanpur plant acquisition. Then leaving my comfort zone and going to a uncharted territory of STC. Different business, different scenario, but board level experience, unmatched board level experience. That kind of experience I have not had even my subsequent assignments. And obviously, so that I think a very fulfilling thing. But I had not actually planned for it. It just happened.
So when you are in different sectors, you are actually dealing with different stakeholders. Like if you are in a PSU, you are dealing with the ministry. If you are in a cooperative sector, as you mentioned, some farmer members, they come. And in a private company, you are actually answering to the promoters. And in a JV, you are actually managing the various JV partners. Means these are different structures. So which of these accountability structures taught you the most? And which was the hardest to navigate?
Actually, now we have actually migrating. We are talking to only about board level.
Yes.
Obviously, not at the function level of the operational level. At the board level, see, in a standalone company, obviously, Crypco, I don't have experience of board level, so better I will not speak on that. I have experience on the STC as Director of Finance and then CMD. So, and obviously joint venture companies. I found that most challenging and most professionally rewarding, I'm not saying otherwise, or STC. I didn't have exposure to the board level things. Now I recall when I joined STC, there a lot of culture change actually. Crypco was a very different company, and STC was a very different company. Even same sort of PSU within PSU culture, entirely different culture. Uh, the Kripko was very open and approachable, and in STC at the working level, because of stress in the company. Because of stress in the company, a lot of things were not happening the way it should have happened. But your question was which one is better? I'll say
Most
the
challenging.
most challenging is dealing with a JV company. With a JV company, you are dealing with your equals. The other company also, they have another company. That company, your partner company, maybe a bigger company than you in the same PSU space. They have different priorities. I'll not say agenda. They have different priorities. For example, I fail to understand why a oil and gas sector consultancy company is a joint venture company, joint venture partner in Ramamandam. They wanted to retain their equity. Had I been there, CMD, I would have very well been given. Why should be I stuck with I got on with my engineering and consultancy job. But as it happened, so that thing, and in Coal India and GAIL and RCF joint venture of culture, I had seen, though I was only for 9 months chairman there, when I seen how it transferred, still that project has not been implemented. Not obviously entirely due to the JV structure. Various other factors had come. COVID was there. A Chinese contractor was there. And uncharted territory, I mean, coal gasification things were not there. So what I would say that managing a JV is actually difficult. Because you have to cater to too many things. Equals have to are there.
Yeah, I would personally agree with you, because managing a JV is like managing equals and sometimes bigger than you. It becomes challenging. And when they don't have that as a priority to settle or handle or whatever, that is an issue, I think. So one question with respect to, you went from CMD of a Navratna, the highest authority in a major organization, and then you became a MD of a private company, where the promoters sit above you. This is a question most of the people who leave PSU and go and join private sector, these questions normally remain. So most leaders find this transition uncomfortable. So how did you manage the shift? Because you're there for now very long time, so you are kind of very comfortable in that situation also. And did it feel like loss or something else entirely?
A very good question, actually. See, once I shifted again to have a background to this question, when I shifted rather promoted from STC to NFL, first time I was as chairman, CMD of NFL, I was having the entire company at my command. Prior to that, it was not that. You are only functional head of finance department, now finance, production, marketing, R&D, internal audit, all other things were reporting to you. So, and actually, what you are answerable, if you see our PSB ads, you are, what is mentioned, you are answerable to the board. But in reality, actually, you are answerable to the ministry, secretary fertilizer. But then, secretary fertilizer, of course, he there. Minister is also there. MO is also there. Here is joint secretary and additional secretary are also there. They also think is their company. For them, ESU is their company. They're their backyard. So,
उनका पैसा लगा.
हाँ, गवर्नमेंट का पैसा लगा ही हुआ है. Yes. तो we were also government servant. तो वो आपने देखा, once we have seen that scenario, the changing from, again, we can be very rigid and policy based. We will not go only L1, and L1 chala gaya, so we cannot go to L2. It has to be retendered. Delays will be there. So those things are there. We have those constraints, but clarity in policy is also there. When I shifted, when they approached me of Matix, so I also had those misgivings. Will I be actually, and believe me or not, I used to be, when I used to work as Swimly, my reputation was very dhakad seriously. I will do whatever I think is correct for the company. So on various issues, I have skirmishes with the ministry or different things. So when I joined Matix, I did have that misgiving. But somehow, so all private company will not be same. Our promoter is not, he's very supportive, very dignified way of dealing with the professional management. That actually I'd never thought that it would be like that. And we have, it's not that they do not have interest or areas in which they have special interest. So we also decide the areas in which promoters have special interest. I will not enter those areas. And operational areas where for which I have been hired mainly. So that area they will leave it to me. So we ourselves
Equation is set.
equation is set. It's not, we don't cross each other's path. In case we do discuss. It's not that there will never be any disagreement. We do discuss with it. But it was not as a migration from a central government to a private sector company. That is not a listed company as of now. So it will be difficult. But I thought and I will not say credit to me. I'll say credit to my promoters for that.
Wonderful, I think, because this gives a lot of confidence to the wonderful managers who PSU produces. And I personally believe the person at 60 is at the peak of his knowledge and expertise and governance knowledge. And just because of this thing in the mind, most of the PSU managers who are very, very competent, little are hesitant to join the private promoters and all that. And if promoters are giving this kind of a space, which you are yourself mentioning, it opens up a lot of space for people and even for the economy if you get good managers to manage your big ventures.
Right.
Because PSU gives a scaling up.
It's a wastage of such a manpower at 60 in government sector will retire.
Yes.
So they are actually at the peak of their
career.
wealth of the experience that can very well be applied. Very few of our colleagues have actually got opportunity.
Yeah, because that thing remains in the mind, and I have discussed with number of people and they all have this thing in mind. But I think it's very courageous of you that you did that and you made it successful. That is more important. You're there from last more than, I think.
There's an anecdote here, if you allow me to share. When I was in NFL, my wife used to ask me, when my term was nearing expiry, भाई ऐसा नहीं दे सकते हैं हम साउथ में बेंगलोर या हैदराबाद में जाएं, कोई जॉब मिलेगा? यार कौन देगा? दो साउथ में कंपनियां तो हैं, बट कौन देगा रिटायर्ड PSU को उसमें? तो दो ऑफ कोर्स आफ्टर रिटायरमेंट completion my tenure in NFL, though I did not get job in Bangalore or Hyderabad as my wife had originally desired, but Bombay is a very good place to be in. Yes.
So out of all your career, 23 years you did in cooperative. Longer than any other career, right?
50-50 was it. Out of 46 years, I started in 1980. 46 years, half of it is in crypto. The remaining half are other companies.
So what does that model actually understand about human incentives and accountability that the PSC and private model simply do not? Because that is a very less known area to a lot of people.
Already earlier mentioned, actually the difference is only at the board level and the shareholder level. At the operational level, for the most of the employees, that actually doesn't matter. Somewhere, being in the cooperative, we are more pro-farmer. We spend more on farmers. We means CRIPCO, and if probably they spend more on farmers and farmer welfare activities. And it is voluntary. Then because ultimately farmers are our members indirectly through the primary village level society. So if we leave that, operation part is like any other company, whether running the plant, marketing activities, or running your finances, where balance sheet, obviously companies that do not have liability, we generally follow that. Yes.
Like one thing which always remains in my mind, like in a listed company or in a PSC, you declare dividend, and that is something is there in the mind.
Yeah, very good point.
Because this point, I always wonder how does it happen? How does it happen?
Very, I'll say thoughtful of the policymakers at that time. So they have decided that the dividend cannot be more than 20%.
Oh,
Dividend cannot be more than 20%, which actually meant that the profit will be plowed.
back, yeah.
Yes. So obviously the members, they do not settle for anything less than 20% dividend. Yeah. But
20% is also a good dividend.
this is one of the difference.
It's a good dividend.
Yeah, this is
20%.
20%. It will come now. Both crypto if are profitable. 20% is not a big number for them. The recruiting remaining same.
And it all goes to the farmers.
It actually not. It goes to the cooperative society.
Yeah,
And the farmers are their
The beneficiaries of those.
Yes.
This thing. So I'll talk a little bit about the your coming back to the private sector at the top, Matix.
Okay.
So Matix approached you twice,
Yeah.
right? Once during the COVID, and at the time you said no, and when the plant was ready, you said yes. So what changed between the first conversation and the second?
Okay. The news of my completion of tenure in NFL had spread. So before 1 or 2 days before completion of my tenure, they approached me from Matix, and we did have some discussion on the role. What I can. They had not decided on what role they should provide to me. They must have heard about me, and maybe I'm right time. My tenure was coming to an end. But some of things did not work out at that time. It's not that I said no. Think it's better. I will say things did not work out, and also the plant was under shutdown under some stress because it's a long story. Sometime maybe in next podcast we can cover that.
Definitely, I'll do another.
When that was in May 2020 or June 2020. Then we did have a couple of meetings, but things did not work out at that time. When the plant was again to restart, when the gas started coming, August 2021, then they approached me again. At that time, plant was coming on stream, production was was to start. At that time, approached me. So my joining at Matix and the commencement of the plant and operations were simultaneously. It happened simultaneously, and if I reflect my achievement in Matix, if I say, though we have achieved, I don't know, we have not spoken about that initially. Now it's a 5th year into this operation. First 2 years, it was a more of a stabilization phase, new plant, and which was closed for many years for want of raw material. So it did have some. After that first 2 years, this is the 3rd year, continuously, we are the largest urea producer from any single plant in the country. Last 2 years continuously, there is a coveted prize by FAI annual award. Best operated urea ammonia plant for the last 2 years we have got it. And this year also we were ahead of them. And
one thing which I have not touched upon, it is just coming into my mind. Normally when we look for a managing director for a complex engineering work, people will look at engineers. You are not an engineer, you are only CMA. So what did you think that Matix thought that you will do, and how did you navigate those engineering challenges?
actually, see, obviously the right person to answer this is my promoter. But if I had been in that, they are not looking for engineer, cost accountant, a chartered accountant, or a marketing guy. They're looking for a leader. They're looking for a business leader who has a reputation in the industry, who has something to speak about their history of their career. So I think they were looking for that. Obviously, MD, even if I had been a technical person, an MD is not expected to run and operate the plant. An MD is not expected to do the bookkeeping and accounting. MD is not expected to actually go and sell fertilizers to the farmers, right? There are teams available, but you have to manage the entire thing. So they were looking for a leader with a proven track record.
Okay. So you joined the private sector. You must have had some things in the mind. So something which you did not expect and which happened. We always expect the wrong things. Some things which you did not expect and it was there in a private sector. So one would like to hear that.
Actually, see, ultimately, whether it's a private sector, cooperative sector, or public sector, or for that matter, even GV, since you talked about GV, ultimately, see, plants do not make the company. The marketing department does not make it is the people who are actually the company, type of people. So here I got chance to build my own team. The team was not there. A lot of senior people I brought in because of my connection and connectivity. Many people got confidence that since I am at the helm of affairs, the company will be doing. They had confidence. So I think that way also I contributed to the company. And I think getting a free hand to hire my team the way I want, and then how to motivate them, and those things, I think I didn't know at that time how much flexibility does a private sector MD have. But I think there is a lot of flexibility is there. Obviously, as I mentioned, we are not governed by the L1 culture of the public sector. And that it's not that we have given a go by to it, and we have actually established a system. We go and decide L1. But if L1 price is higher than the reasonable price which we feel, then there is no bar on us to go to L3 or 4 or whatever. There is no bar on that. So that is the...
There's no GFR rule.
There's flexibility. Ultimately, we have to provide value for money to the company and the management and the owners of the company.
So, if I say the way you are managing NFL, pretty much the same you are managing Matix.
To a large extent, yes.
Pretty much the same.
Much, yes.
So, when you do that, you call it a philosophy or putting a team together. Like you did not have the flexibility of putting a team together in NFL, but the same flexibility you had it in Matix. So, it was an added advantage.
But actually, there are challenges. See, hiring for a private company, and that to a newcomer private company. So we are not, we have just started. There are companies which are there for decades. So hiring is not an easy thing. Hiring at senior and lateral level.
People
yes.
don't join.
Still there are at the induction level, there is charm amongst the young graduates to go for government job, sarkari job.
Or established organizations.
Sarkari job. So that is a thing. So somehow we surmounted it. There is the employee turnover is there that people leave, but we are able to get and
replace people.
Replace people, and also we are not at senior level. We are not averse to taking people who retire from PSUs. We are not even for private sector beyond 60. If they are able to contribute, they're having good health, we take them. As of now, we might be having, apart from me, I am seeing maybe 15 to 20 people at the senior level who are leadership position. 50% leadership is beyond 60, I will say.
Yeah, and that too in a private sector.
In a private sector.
Which we personally think that it is not possible.
I'm not saying that this is the right way to go, but to build an organization, ultimately, I also want the leadership should be younger in time going ahead. But when you are building a company, you need experienced people in the leadership position. So that we are doing. Going ahead, next 10, 15, 20 years, obviously we'll be having leaders at the younger level.
So how do you see the company doing in the future? Now it is fully established. You think you have made the team ready. The plant is fully functional. It is producing this thing.
Actually, avoid talking much about the present company because.
Yeah.
But I will say now that we have established this much, I can say we have established ourselves as a best operating urea ammonia plant. We are looking for expansion of another plant. We are also looking for any adjacent industry which we can invest in. We are also open to acquisition if those opportunities come. So that way.
So people will also come and join now.
Yes, sir. Beyond that, I think company plans I will not speak.
Yes. Now I will come to the profession.
Yeah.
Young CMA and what India needs. So when you were qualified in 1985, what did CMA designation mean professionally? And what should it mean now, 40 years? In a world of AI, ESG, and the real-time analytics.
See,
just imagine those urea pricing you are doing when the AI and real-time analytics are available.
But urea pricing is being done even now. It's not that after AI, urea pricing is not being done.
It has become that much easier.
Not exactly. They have not. AI has not been able to enter into that, as far as I know. You said as CMA, what I thought. See, one thing is that defining moment for in my career, in my life, was joining CMA. After I crossed the CMA, of course, it used to be. I used to think it's another degree to fetch me a job. Right. So by virtue of it also allowed me to work while I was studying. Then actually you are asking about what young CMA. Those days it was only accounting. We used to do accounting. Similarly, CA is also accounting profession and used to do excel in what we do. That was the sole aim at that stage. At the initial of the career, you will not, maybe today MBAs think maybe another 10 years, 15 years, I will be the CEO of a company. For a professional CMA or CA, I don't think we look at it like that. So, but if you are asking what young CMA should look at it, I think again, he has to be very strong at fundamentals. He should understand the fundamentals. Accounting, he is an accountant, he has to know the accounting and costing. There is no way out because that is his entry into the corporate world by virtue of his that is accounting and cost accounting and obviously related field. Now I'm not speaking about the other related fields. Then as you grow, you have to enhance your area. You have to establish that your integrity. You have to prove that yes, you are dependable. Yeah, also your communication skills you have to, because as I understand, the MBAs are very good at communication. So I think our accounting professionals probably are not that adept in that. So this is an area we should work on. And obviously the AI, all the artificial intelligence tool, they should master that also, some help. And they should never think they cannot be leader of the company. They should start thinking how a leader thinks, what should be he doing. Unless you are of value to the leader, then it will be difficult for you to justify growth in your own career.
So your career is itself the most powerful argument for what this profession can achieve, as you said rightly. But most CMAs do not know the story, this story, your story. What would you want them to know from your story? But about what is possible for them with this profession.
As I mentioned, had someone asked me when I passed CMA that will I be a CMD of a large public sector company with a large number of employees and operations, or a private sector company, obviously I would not have been able to reply, because at that time your job is to say your horizon should be next 3-4 years. In fact, it recalls me. We take interview of many people during the course. Even my present assignment, whenever there are defined places, defined levels on which even MD has to take interview. Sometimes even lower than that, in case his boss reports to me. So one person I asked, what is your vision after 5 years? The same question which my CMD in SCC asked me. I was surprised. First, I was surprised at the answer. The answer he gave was that, sir, I don't have a vision beyond 3 years. 3 साल के बाद सोचा नहीं है मैंने क्या करेंगे. So I think that is a typical of the present generation. I mean, in our time, we used to marry a company. We join a company. We never thought, we don't join a company to leave the company. So it is another matter that I actually left the companies, but I stayed quite long. So yeah, this is my reflection on the young people, how they approach the job.
Sir, I asked you what is your advice to the young female CMAs, and you said that I will not answer that. This is a very unusual choice. Most
wait.
senior leaders are happy to say something.
Okay, I'll tell.
Because you must have met a number of female employees during your career. Means I leave it to you if you don't want to answer. We'll cut this.
I did not say I will not answer
Why
it.
did you hold this line?
What I'm saying is my advice to a young CMA is the same whether she is a female CMA candidate or a male CMA candidate. A young CMA is a young CMA. Actually, when career goes, I think gender does not matter. If somebody is thinking the gender should define how a career should function, I am not a believer of that. That's why I was saying that I will give the same advice to a lady CMA course. And in my career, I have met many lady professionals, very competent lady professionals. So, and they are competent not because they were lady. My point is that because they were competent officers in their respective field, they also happen to be lady. Similarly, they are competent professionals who happen to be gentlemen. So I see it that way. So I hope you understand.
I do take your answer, but my question was, I think, when I asked you, was this because female go through a different kind of a challenges because they have to drop out of the workforce for at least 1 or 2 years when they start the family and all that. And for them coming back becomes that much more difficult. So what is this one piece of advice? Because I am of the opinion that women should not choose that we will not have a family. They must have a family. I personally is a very big advocate of marriage and family. So how to navigate that phase and how to remain happy in spite of that phase, that becomes very, very challenging. And organizations do provide counseling, all those kind of things, but still that challenge remains. So as a leader, so what would you like to say to...
See, even in my present organization and even in NFL or SCC, I have seen many lady officers were there, and some have actually reached very high level. In fact, we celebrated on first time a lady became general manager in NFL. A Facebook post we made, maybe LinkedIn and all those things also. Since at so what is happening after 30 or 40 years of career? If I am saying one lady has become GM, it is not a reflection of the company and management. It's a reflection of the fact that 40 years back, very few girls entered the profession. So one should not feel that there are few female leaders at the top is a reflection of how the society or the company or the management deals with ladies. It's not very supportive. I think I have been very supportive. I understand the family issues are there, but at the end of the day, the lady officer also is conscious of the fact that they have to compete with everybody else. Their male counterparts also.
Despite having those challenges.
Yeah, despite. And I think families are also now supporting. There are very supporting families are there. They also understand. Yes. They also understand.
Few of them are there, few of them are not there also. So, 6 pillars. Fundamentals, business sense, communication, AI, integrity and curiosity.
Yes.
Which one is the most consistently absent in young finance professional you encounter these days?
See,
fundamentals?
Understood. I think curiosity is one of the things which is missing. If your fundamentals are strong and you are curious, then a lot of other things will come. Curiosity has to be there. And during my interaction with my employees, even freshers or even waste department employees, I keep on meeting them and different. I like meeting the employees and motivating them and sharing what the company is there, what company is performing and what is their role in the company. I always tell, don't spend your 100% of your time into doing what you are expected to do. You do maybe 75 or 80% of the time, but the remaining time you know about the other departments sometime. Then hierarchy, I will tell you, they'll also know about the company as a whole. Then you know about the industry you are in. Then you should know about the Indian economy. And again, world economy. You cannot, if you 100% of your mind space is occupied by, if somebody is doing some accounting job, he is 100% devoted to that only, he will not be able to grow. You will become curious only if you are open to other ideas and other areas. That has been my motto, and I have been actually telling my employees to do that.
That is, I think, very good. I think, which is a very good observation you have. We have one more segment, right, which we will talk about you as a person beyond the profession. But before that, we'll go for a rapid fire round.
Okay.
So I want a lot of energy. So you want to have some water or something like that.
Maybe I
lot
can
of
have
energy.
water. Yes.
Assam or Delhi? Home in your heart.
Now, Noida.
Tea or coffee at 5 a.m.
I'm coffee at 11 a.m. Black coffee.
Badminton or morning walk? If you had to choose one of this for rest of your life.
Obviously, morning walk is must. And as we are growing old, morning walk has to be there.
One word for Banaras.
My initial childhood days, I have very sweet memories.
One word for 23 years at Kripco.
Kripco has actually made me what I am. That is the foundation. And to some, let me elaborate on some. There was some Kripco group. There was a thing called "कौन सा cadre है आपका?" I used to call when I joined STC and other. I am Kripco cadre. तो उस समय इतना affinity थी मुझे Kripco के प्रति. Yes.
Right. One word for 5 years as STC.
It was most challenging and most demanding, but also most educating also.
One word for your NFL CMD tenure.
Actually, I could do whatever I plan to do.
Wonderful. One word for Matix.
Matix is a flower which has started blossoming now. It is a long way to go, long way to go.
The accounts clerk in 1980 or the Navratna CMD in 2019. Which version of you would the other find more surprising?
Obviously, the accounts clerk will be more. Today, if you are asking a question, then obviously 1980 accounts clerk will be more surprising. Yes, but if you ask someone in 1980 about CMD and NFL, that would be unthinkable for him.
Correct. Finance professional or business leader? What is a CMA ultimately?
See, his basic is he is a finance professional based on his qualification. But as he evolves, it's not when he's coming out of his profession just fresh in first few couple of years or maybe 5 years. At that time, you asking to be business leader, that will be a difficult task. But he has to aspire to be a business leader, and there is a path to becoming a business leader. And he must aspire. I don't think, at least I am, there are many CMAs who have risen to the position of helping a company, that it is doable. We can do it.
Private sector or public sector? Where is the better leader made?
It is a tough one because I have worked in both ways. But I think private sector is a better leader. Private sector, more challenges are there. Here, more handicaps are there in public sector.
Kripco or NFL? Where did you grow more?
Kripco was my formative years. And after I actually got formed, then I joined NFL.
Where did you grow more?
The growth was obviously in Kripco.
The one quality a CMD absolutely cannot lack.
It's a communication. Communication with the stakeholders.
The best decision of your career, one line.
I'll say joining Kripco in 87.
I'll say joining STC.
That you are saying. I'm saying joining Kripco, but during this, you're not allowed to speak out anecdotes.
You can speak.
See, there was a time, as I mentioned, for 4 years I was working in government, central government. During that period, I did my CMA study. I qualified while remaining in government. And from government, I had to go to commercial organization, PSUs, obviously. Private sector, immediately, it was not in my thought. And that was very difficult. Whenever I applied, I had another constraint, self-imposed constraint, that I will remain in Delhi only. So my interviews will take place, and I will say after that, when the interviewer is satisfied, okay, tell me, where would you like to be posted? Okay. I'll say very sheepishly, I want to be in Delhi. And obviously the interview, will end, and no offer will come. Slowly, then I again, it has not wisdom from someone else. I thought I should myself think, and that this is becoming my hindrance in change. So in the meantime, I had gone to TCIL, also gone to Handicrafts and Handloom Export Corporation of India. From there, at that time decided I have to change my strategy. There was a organization called, most likely it was IRCC, Indian Road Construction Corporation, or EPIL. I don't remember the company. And I knew it had multiple projects all across India and also abroad in Gulf countries. Or they had those. The same question after interview. I thought interview was good. Same question they asked me, where do you like to be posted in India? My answer was, this time I was prepared. My answer was, why to any posting in India? I am prepared to be posted anywhere outside India also. This was my answer. And can you imagine, the appointment letter came, and the appointment was in New Delhi, Connaught Place. Of course, from HSCs I resigned citing that organization, but ultimately I went on to join Ripco.
The decision you would make differently if you could go back. One line.
I think the things have happened. There are many things which actually I have not decided. Many things have decided for me. For example, I never knew when I joined STC that I'm joining a company with so many difficult cases of coming out of financial stress due to great financial crisis. So that was not of my choice. I actually inherited those choices. So this is another lesson in leadership, that the problems you don't create, you also inherit problems. Your job is to solve them.
The most dangerous myth about the fertilizer industry that most people still believe.
It is that the subsidy is given to the fertilizer company. People forget, if you recall, during my initial interaction, I said that almost 80 to 90% subsidy is given for urea. Just one number I'm at random. If 50,000 rupees is the cost of production, it's not actually, but for an example, and we are allowed to sell 5,000 rupees, 45,000 rupees is subsidy. You can replace the number 50,000 or 30,000 or 80,000, but the MRP is say 5,000 rupees. So this much is this subsidy. And people think this subsidy is to the fertilizer company, whereas we are the channels of routing this subsidy to the farmers. It's the biggest myth.
DBT by you.
DBT by through us, yes.
DBT by fertilizer companies.
Actually, yes.
So VN Rai asks you to analyze one company's position today. Which company would you most want it to be?
Actually,
ये tough है.
no, tough नहीं है. It's not that where I used to. मैं ये बताना चाह रहा हूँ मैं. Out of my own initiative, he never asked me. Some circular will come, it will got marked to, it will address to MD. MD say it will get marked to me. I of my own initiative has to do those analysis and take it to him. इसका ये impact आने वाला है, इसका ये impact आने वाला है. Then he used to ask me. He never asked me कि इसको analyze करो या उसको analyze करो.
So let me change the question. Which company you will analyze and take it to VN Rai?
No, actually, a bit irrelevant at the moment because he is 2 decades senior, if not more.
Okay.
No issues. So he is my mentor. I have no doubt about that.
So coal gasification Ura at Talcher. Will it change India? Yes or no?
If answer will not be in yes or no, can you imagine? India used to produce urea from coal gasification plant 4 decades back. It's all due to government policies that we forced entire urea production through gas-based plants. We had coal-based plants. Of course, it was not efficient. Not efficient because of our coal quality, not because of technology. And there were naphtha-based plants, there were fuel oil-based plants. All by virtue, government forced each one of them to go for gas. Now we are going back. Imagine had we mastered that coal gasification thing. Obviously, initially there will be some difficulty. We would have learned it 40 years back. तो 40 years back जो यूरिया बनता था coal gasification में, we would have been the leader in coal gasification. Now we are importing technology from elsewhere. We have actually missed the bus. And yes.
If not a CMA, what profession would you have chosen?
Actually, the profession has chosen me. It's not that I have chosen the profession.
Mumbai or Delhi? As a city to live and work in.
See, to work in Mumbai, I like, and if I tell someone that even in Mumbai, city of Mumbai, I have enough time to come for lunch to home and go back. So that is a luxury. Because of my location, I am having that luxury. So Mumbai is a very nice city. But since Delhi is the place where I studied, I grew up, I reached a career, at the pinnacle of my career. So I think I have to come back to Delhi. So Delhi is the answer.
The book or podcast that change how you see the world. Name one.
Actually, this is one confession that I like books. I have gifted many books to many people, but somehow when it comes to reading a book completely, so it is a challenge for me. I have not been able to. I have read many books, but not a avid book reader. But during COVID, when this podcast thing became common, and we also had enough time at home, locked at home, when I started listening to podcasts, then it actually changed my view, because you get a lot many things. You're not. I'm not limiting myself to finance or only economy. Geopolitics also go. Sometime entertainment discussion. Sometime interview with eminent personality. Sometime with some humor. So you have entire thing. Even AI will not be able to know.
Any specific you would like to mention?
For
Name of a podcast.
I think it will be advertisement for that.
If you had to do the CMA qualification again today, would you still choose it?
See, for that you have to become a student again. I also don't know what are those days. To tell you, choice were limited. I think CA, CMA, ICAA, maybe company secretary, and MBA. These are for a commerce graduate. These are the four I could think of. MBA, because of financial reasons, are out of question. CA, at his compulsory articleship, it again, a person like me who wanted to be financially independent also was out of question. And I thought more opportunities are there in CMA than CS at that time. Actually, to answer this, I don't know what are the opportunities available. So I will not hazard a guess.
The one thing about the fertilizer industry that keeps you up at night?
It's a overregulation, too much. Even to set up a plant, you need a permission of Government of India. To your plant is set up, then what pricing will you make? You have to fight for that and prove your, as you mentioned, urea pricing. The price will be given. Then once you have started production and supplies to various states, which state, how much to send, the government will be advising. So it's the government hangover and over-regulation and it's increasing day by day.
What do you know how that you wish somebody had told you at the Candy Filters accounts desk in 1980?
See, at that time, actually, I was too
You
raw.
can wish now.
I could too raw. Somebody, see, when I resigned in Candy Filters to go for ministry, at that time, the ministry salary was maybe double from what was. So at that time, but my seniors, the leaders there, they tried to reason with me. Don't make a shift. They said, अभी ऐसा ग्राफ बनाया है मेरे लिए उन्होंने कि ऐसा जा रहा है, ये धीरे धीरे जाएगा, 3% 4% जाएगा, यहाँ आपका ऐसे जाएगा ग्राफ, आफ्टर फ्यू ईयर्स यू विल ओवरटेक इट. But see, the lure of a government job
Government job was too.
and also to be able to study. Private में study करने इतना time मिल पाता, I doubt.
Yes. Your wife's one word review of you as a life partner, what would it be?
Meet for each other.
Very good. Wonderful. Wonderful. So I have left only with one segment, the person beyond the professional.
Okay.
You are up at 5 a.m. single day, including the morning before a board presentation. What does that first hour give you that the rest of your day cannot?
See, I get up at 5 and go for a walk at 6. So that 1 hour is also there. Do some reflection. Check with the latest email or messages some have come. And also, after COVID, I stopped having morning teas. I had too much of kadha actually during those days. So that 1 hour is that from 6 to 7 is my morning walk. And that time we exchange notes. I tell her my stories. In fact, my children ask us, there is sometimes some intruder into our walk. They will join us for the walk. I actually used to resist that. Okay? So this is 1 hour where we discuss many things. So my children also ask me, यार पूरे दिन वो साथ रहते हो, उस 1 घंटे में क्या है? So but I actually treasure that 1 hour when we walk together in the morning.
Yes, yes. You walk with your wife every morning for an hour in a career as demanding and consuming as yours has been. How much of that marriage has quietly happened in that 1 hour?
How much of?
That marriage has happened in that 1 hour. Which you actually answered, but still, some more anecdotes.
See, as I said, those are the times I also tell some of my stories. She is very fond of asking me, extracting me. Actually, she was working as a teacher till 2015. She led, once I was, I joined NFL as CMD. Then she left it. And I don't know if you know me or not. Generally, most of the official tours, I also take her along outside. What I'm saying, outstation tours, I also take her along, and I also combine my work with some tourism, local tourism. So during that part, she is my companion again.
So you still get that 1 hour of morning walk with her?
Obviously, outstation, depending upon where we are, how safe is it?
Yes, yes. So you became a podcast listener during COVID and have continued since. Geopolitics, economy, investment. And now here you are on a podcast. What do you think makes a podcast genuinely worth a listener's time?
Actually, see, there are a plethora of podcasts now, right? Even on investments, when I started, I used to think only 1 or 2 are there. Now I think maybe tens of people are doing, all maybe good.
Number of them.
So you have a limited capacity. You will listen to maybe 1 hour, 1.5 hours during a day podcast. So, but you have to choose which one to, because your time is limited.
So you played badminton on every NFL plant visit.
Yes, yes, yes.
The mornings were the court before the boardroom. When you had to give it up in Mumbai, what did you lose? And what did you put in that place?
See, we were in NFL days. I actually, in our corporate office, I built a badminton court, 2 court. And every evening we used to play there. I, along with my colleagues, few directors also. Directors are not very fond of badminton, and also is also very demanding game actually. Then we shifted to table tennis for 1 year. Last 1 year, I think we played a lot of tennis. All directors used to join me. But see, when I was saying that after coming to Mumbai, I stopped playing badminton, it's not that badminton is not played in Mumbai. Only thing is that once we are away from a locality outside our comfort zone of Noida and Delhi, and then remaining in the house with my wife and family, that is more important. Then if I go to play outside, then again 1 or 2 hours.
Going and coming
And
back.
that is the reason actually I had never took up golf. The very senior people, most of us, they flaunt that they play golf. So playing golf means during the Sundays, remaining out at Sunday morning, remaining out of the home, and few hours or maybe first half you're spending with your friends and not with your partner. So that I think that also never took up. That golf never inspired me.
So do you still play tennis when you come to badminton when you come to Noida? Like today we are recording this podcast in Noida.
No, I think that has not been playing.
Okay.
But now when we go to my Matix plant, sometimes some opportunity comes. We now play table tennis.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. It has been a pleasure talking to you, sir. And I am truly honored for your agreeing to coming and spending such lovely time with us and talking about the host of issues which has shaped you as a man. And we are so proud of you. And our profession is also very proud of you that you have achieved so much. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, you walked into first job in 1980 as an accounts clerk. You leave this conversation as the MD of Matix, having been in between the CMD of Navratna. In those 4 decades, you worked in every room in the house of Indian industry. And through all of it, one lesson from V.N. Rai stayed. The question you are willing to ask in the ceiling, you will reach. The every young CMA listening today wondering how far this qualification can take them. I hope today's conversation has been your answer, not an argument. I am Dr. Geeta Sharma, FCMA, and this conversation has mattered.